In ancient times, there was a sacred forest where lived sages and rishis who studied the meaning of life, tried to find the root of suffering and freedom from it. They looked up in the cosmos at the constellations, did charts, did maps, experimented in all ways of healing and spiritual powers. Yet over time, they became prideful. They became hypnotized, you could say, by their own powers, and they became hypocritical, and behind the curtain were partaking in all the indulgences, sensual and whatnot indulgences that they proclaimed to have renounced. Well, one day, a beautiful young yogi hermit came into the ashram kingdom who was blazing beautifully, radiating like sunshine. He radiated purity, goodness, all the higher dharma qualities of a true yogi. And all the sages and those who also, the wives of those who had wives, they all pleaded for him to stay in this beautiful, beautiful, pious kingdom. And suddenly the youth gave out a thunderous laugh that shook the mountains and went, ha 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 ha! And this was the laugh of Shiva, of course, the Maha-Yogi, the original yogi, and beyond all forms, religions, time, or space. And they were threatened and scared of his beautiful power, for it mirrored back their own limitations and hypocrisy. And therefore, the sages and rishis got together, and they had already acquired some black magic by this time under their belts. And they went zoom, 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 and they had some incantations and spells. And out from the smoke came a magical tiger, a supernatural tiger that was ferocious. And this is the tiger of unwarranted passion, unbridled, that will burn through and not bring balance. So the tiger went right at the youth, who is now becoming just Shiva himself and the Maha-Yogi. And Shiva took gracefully the tiger skin, magical tiger, and wrapped it around him like a loincloth. Well, the sages were scared. What are we going to do now? So they huddled, vroom, vroom, and they used their magic powers again. And they created supernatural serpents, poisonous serpents, that have the poison of hate and avidya, ignorance. And so the serpents all slithered at Shiva. But Shiva, again, without missing a beat, gracefully reached for and took the serpents and surrounded his neck, his throat, his arms and body with them, like beautiful custom-made jewelry that he was able to hold without their poisonous sting. Well, the sages had to use now their wild cards. They were running out of their spells that they could do, so they huddled together, and then out came a hideous little demonic dwarf. And this dwarf came in and she ran at Shiva and charged at him. And then Shiva, again, without missing a step, became the dancer, Nataraj. The dancer, Nataraj means dance, sacred dance. It's also the stage of which he, and perhaps we, dance on. Well, at any rate, he leaped on and did the cosmic dance that horrified the sages. But it was graceful and beautiful, and started emanating his true divine, magnificent nature, vast, infinite capacity, and beyond capacity, just pure being. And Shiva rose up and had multiple arms, and his hair like dreadlocks swirled around. He became enormous. All the sages, animals, souls, rishis were in awe, looked out. Gods peered out from the clouds. Asuras and demons in the astral realms pulled away from their glittering palaces and watched in amazement as Shiva his arms swirled around. Around him there was a great circle, a ring of fire, and around that was all on the flames, the wheels of samsara, life, birth, death, rebirth, life, birth, death, continually, that we are all caught on. Yoga teaches until we finally fuse back with the divine. And that Shiva emanated this beauty, radiance, infinite joy on he danced, his foot on the demon represented that when grounded in the higher realm, when we know that this is a play, this wheel of Maya, of samsara, then we can dance freely through life. In one hand he holds, the right, a drum that pounds. With each sound, an age, a life is born and dies. On another hand, he's pointing down at the demon, saying, I have surpassed this worldly plane. I am already beyond the worldly plane. You tune into me, you can surpass it. Tune in. Don't look, tune in down, tune in upwards, inwards and up, as we say as yogis, in our spines. In another hand, there was a flame of illumination, a blazing flame that's also, as we know, of flames, as flames burn, of destruction. For destruction and liberation are synonymous with Shiva. And then in the other hand, he's got a palm compassionately out that signifies as a mudra, fear not, fear not, fear not, peace, joy awaits you in the divine. Open yourself to the divine, you will be free, you will be able to dance like me. And as we do, the more we tune in to the divine, of course, the more we can dance freely, compassionately, like Shiva. For all forms come and go, live, are born, and die. But in that, why Shiva is the most compassionate of the great gods, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, because he takes away what is not needed. He knows it's not easy, but it's for those mortal souls who think they're mortal but are not. And yet at the same time, Shiva is beyond the form of the dancer, beyond the form of the great Maha-yogi meditating. Shiva is the formless within forms, and he dissolves all the forms, including, like that little demon he dances on, our little petty, dwarf-like likes, dislikes, and all the littleness, the gossip, the resentments, all reviewing the past, keeping score, worrying about the future. He just burns it all into the flames of purification in his sacred dance. And in that dance, we can move with him back into the true inner stillness.